Well, well, well. Here we are at last. Here we are at last at my humble office among Stark Tower. And how amusing, with just a few threatening words, and I have the entire backyard wrestling community in the palm of my hands. Oh, how so much has changed. How everything has really altered. All of you. I see you for what you truly are. Leeches. Blood-sucking mosquitoes. Just sucking the life out of each and every backyard wrestler you consider to be your heroes. And now you're just waiting. Waiting so impatiently, wanting to know the truth. I have shared wars with many over time, months, years. All for what, exactly? What is backyard wrestling to begin with? And it took me some time to realize it. And here I am in Stark Tower, the highest of the executive format. And I'm going to rob you all of hope. And soon, when this stream is finally over, you will see the world as I see it. You will witness backyard wrestling in a whole different perspective. And I will be victorious. So where do I begin? Who do I begin with? I told you all that I would expose each and every single one of you, including the UWE. What exactly is underground wrestling entertainment to begin with? Was it really just a backyard wrestling federation formed over a common hobby? The passion, the excitement? Oh no, it's much more than that. And I can see already that the flow of comments are beginning to crack right through the surface. For instance, Jason Walker wants to know the truth. Everybody wants to know exactly what happened with Jason Walker. Why exactly did I decline the challenge made by Jason Walker? A match set for the main event of Crossover Crisis. And then all of a sudden, I decide to target Dustin Reagan instead. Questions, questions. Everybody wants to know. Well, a great man once said that in this business you can make friends or you can make money. And not that UWE had any profit, but I was once a fool and believed in the ratings. I believed that UWE actually represented something. But I was wrong. I thought UWE stood as family, stood as a whole, and accepted me for who I was. But then I found myself on the receiving end of a VTW assault, and nobody came to my assistance. My so-called UW brethren did nothing about it. But as far as Jason Walker is concerned, Jason was out for one man alone, and that was himself. All Jason Walker has done is use backyard wrestling in its entirety to up his own potential. Jason Walker was a spoiled child, expected everything in the palm of his hands, and those in APW and in HPTW were too afraid to tell him no. Jason Walker expected everything handed on him on a silver platter. Look at WrestleCon. For everybody thought Cameron Jackson deserved the victory over Jason Walker. Everybody believed that it was Cameron Jackson's match to win and Jason Walker's streak to be over. But that did not see throughout. Because Cameron Jackson was too afraid. As was 9 others that fell victim to his streak. They couldn't see it through. And Jason Walker thought he had everything figured out. But Jason Walker realized the truth. And maybe, just maybe, this might be the first secret divulged. The secret of Jason Walker. I'm sure you're watching this, Jason. And I know why you backed out at Crossover Crisis. It's because you were afraid to lose. You were afraid that people would see you as the facade you really are, the shell that you have created, this perfect, spotless image of an icon, of one that all should worship. But you also have a Napoleon complex. Such short of stature, and everybody sees it as a joke, but I see it as something much, much more. You're afraid to show weakness. And once I exposed that weakness to the world, you cowered and you hid away. Because you were afraid and you knew that I would defeat you. So you were the one that backed out, not me. I had you in the palm of my hand. Much unlike anyone else that has ever stepped in the ring with Jason Walker, I was the one that got into his head. I was the one that made him realize that his destiny was not going to have a happy ending. So he decided to close the book before he read his last page. Arrogance was his weakness and his early retirement. Now I'm sure Jason Walker's going to try to crawl his way back into the limelight. And he's going to find some poor mistaken foe. And he's going to convince him of his deserving victory. Because Jason Walker is weak. There's just so many others like him. So many that have such an ego to where they have to convince themselves that they are so much more than what they really are. Look at Cameron Jackson, for example. I almost pity the man. The reason why CJE was created, like he said on Twitter, I didn't allow him to put his hands on Angelique Stark, my woman, my queen, my empress. No. What kind of a man tries to get his point across by physically harming a woman? And he does it for ratings? For instant popularity? I denied him of that. And thus he created the CJE because he wanted independence from underground wrestling entertainment. Because he couldn't handle being told what to do. Cameron Jackson is nothing more than a mere tampering child who will whine and cry till he gets what he wants. Very similar to Jason Walker and almost everybody else in backyard wrestling for that matter. The CJE was created out of pure immaturity and disrespect and disdain towards those that were weaker, like the deceased. I still remember Cameron Jackson disrespecting the grave of Rick Rios' uncle. I still remember the actions Cameron Jackson would have on the FTC roundtable, completely disdaining and disrespecting Zach Daniels' own girlfriend. But I wouldn't allow Cameron Jackson to physically or mentally harm my Angelique Stark. And thus, the coward has been revealed. And now Cameron Jackson wants to run away from UWE. He wants to say now he wants to put on the VTW colors because he knows that I'm going to destroy UWE, that I've already have. And now he wants to reduce the blast radius by saying that he's joined VTW and that, oh, don't worry, Cameron Jackson's still around. I've already won. There's nothing he can do. And just look at all of these comments here. It's just amusing. Hashtag break the creed. Remember that story. Break the creed. How ironic. Because I wasn't broken. In fact, it was I that broke Jason Walker because I exposed him of the mere arrogant human being he truly is. He'll be there. CJE. If you guys have a supremacy going on, why hasn't she been on camera in a year and has been in a total of 2 times? The answer's right in front of you. Miss Stark doesn't deal with the simpletons of the UWE nor backyard wrestling. It's common folk. Miss Stark only communicates with me. And you want to know why? Because I am intellectually on her level. Because you are not worthy of her time. But I assure you that when she does arrive, and believe me, she will arrive soon enough, just keep poking the bear with the stick, and you will see the bear extract his claws. Soon enough, you will all know the truth. Best in the yard. It's dawning approaching. In just a mere 24 hours almost, we will see the beginning and the end of careers as we know it. Look at the difference maker. Yankee has created a posse of his own and has taken superstars from each organization and showed them his way of thinking. Now, normally I would be impressed by such actions. But can Yankee the difference maker really cement to his name? I can assure you, if only Yankee had a pure ground to develop his legacy. But we'll see soon enough now, won't we? But to lay your hands on another man's woman, now that always seems to get the best of me, the mere disrespect. Is that strength in Yankees' game, or is it weakness? We'll find out tomorrow night. Now, won't we? Oh, I just can't wait to see you all praising these people to tear out each other's throats, their own throats, just for your own amusement. The leeches. Like I said, UWE is just a mere circus act for the damned to qualify. Even lips. Just a disgusting, disgraceful excuse of a human being, and the only place that he could really dwell upon is the UWE, because that is his land of opportunity. But I assure you, Lips will not be laughing much longer. Soon he will be put in the ground and forgotten about for all eternity. You will never see anything like that ever again on my turf, I assure you. And then there's the Cameron Jackson supporters. Dustin Reagan. Thank you, Dustin. Big fan. Here you are, all praising him and jumping like spotless monkeys. Unintelligence in its finest form. I've defeated Dustin Reagan, and yet you still grovel at his feet. I don't understand. But soon enough, I won't have to. Dustin Reagan, I have no secret to reveal. I've already beaten you. In your own game of a wrestling match, a crossover crisis. And yet here the people are, the leeches that suck the life out of us, worshiping the man of war. The war that he has lost. And I'm sure he went to his VTW comrades and his head was down. Because he knew that he was the hero who failed. His facade was divulged to the entire world. And it was thanks to me. I'm sure you're all wondering, how did I pull it off? How was I able to get REF by my side? But did you really think about it? Did your mind not have the capacity to put it all together? He's my father, after all. You try to see the big picture, but you don't see what's right in front of your faces. There's the truth you don't know. There's the truth you think you know. And then there's the truth that I know. And that truth is REF. It was all planned from the very beginning. UWE was created by Angelique Stark. She told me, I have an experiment for you. See if you can run this organization. Work on these human test subjects like a TJ Sakara, a Rick Rios, and a Dirty DeChico, a Nick Somas, and try to build them into superstars. Of course, see what you can do for your own self. Run this company for me. Lead my people. And when I proved fruitful to her, she realized that I was more than the UWE, and that soon it would all have to be crushed. It was just a matter of time. And then the UWE abandoned its creator when I was assaulted by VTW, and for that they're going to pay the ultimate price. UWE is going to come to an end. It's just a matter of when. Like I said, I've already won. Best in the yard, meaningless! You're looking at the best in the yard. Within me. So who do you want to know next? Because there's so many. REF for matter? REF was in it on all along. Black and white was my idea. I realized the uprise of the CJE, but I had to keep it at bay. So I told REF, join yourself with Cameron Jackson. Keep him at level. Even conspire against me. And for they did, and they thought they won. They had no idea that I was the one in control the entire time. The puppet master behind the curtain, just making the CJE dance through the hands of my own flesh and blood. And then the FTC was born. And that's when I realized that Cameron Jackson's ego was getting just a little too far ahead of him. Finding himself aligned with the likes of Drew Hood, a mere Cameron Jackson impersonator, and Big Time Mike. 3 massive egos put together to create one super ego. And they say I'm the one that's arrogant. The only reason I need not to surround myself with others to gloat about me is because I am certain of myself. But those 3, they need to convince each other just how important they are. That's the truth. TJ Sakara, for example. TJ realizes the end was coming a long time ago. Maybe one of the people that knows me better than anybody else. And I know you're watching this, TJ. Your Sakara theory is the theory of UWE's ending. That UWE will soon crumble, and it will be at my hands. And the true theory is there's nothing you can do about it. So there you have it. TJ Sakara, I know your thoughts. And as for Rick Rios and Big Time Mike, do you honestly think Big Time Mike has a chance? After being humiliated by Lips at Christmas Chaos, do you honestly think Big Time Mike is in the right mindset? No. Because he realizes that he has more life ahead of him. He knows that he can't just walk away, that Big Time Mike has to be put down, and the only person he's certain of that can put Big Time Mike down and actually do the job is Rick Rios, because he's certain, because he couldn't do it before, and he knows he can't do it again. We will not see Big Time Mike ever compete ever again, and thus the crumbling of the FTC. Big Time Mike wants to move on, guys. He wants to move on. He has a wife, a career, like me. Look at me. I'm at Stark Tower. I run NBC Universal now. Such disturbing facts that you all just relish in. Take a look at Novin, for example. Do you think that he would actually even exist to such power if not for Backyard Wrestling? The poor boy is sick because of a religious satanic father. This man had to do what he had to do. And because of backyard wrestling, a mere sickness grew into him. And now Novin is going to terrorize backyard wrestling. So even if my plan fails, is that truly what's better for backyard wrestling? Novin will send damnation to backyard wrestling. Drew Hood is just the first casualty. Then will we... I almost forgot about the dark side. I was there, and I saw Novin drill dark side on light tubes, and I heard his skull cracking through the glass. Drew Hood is next. And after such, he's going to put lips in eternal damnation in a 6-foot deep grave. The man's sick. And you all just worship it. Feed off of it like mosquitoes in the forest. And it's truly disappointing. It truly is. Crede runs the show. Very brilliantly, I may add. Well, maybe now you see the picture. You kind of disappeared. You know, the fact is, I'm just looking through these chats. I'm looking through these comments. Without your daddy, you wouldn't have beaten him. It's not about without this and without that. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. The fact is, I beat Dustin Reagan. Your hero has failed you, let you down. But at least he actually stood up for himself and for VTW. Unlike a certain someone, Jason Walker, I'm talking to you. You're afraid to lose. And that is why you will never be able to touch me. Because you know that if you ever step in my yard, you'll fall. The fact is, don't defend Crede. There's no ending. This is hilarious. What an idiot. Thank you, Dustin. Big fan. Hilarity. Hilarity, Dustin Reagan says. Now you're concerned about Dirty DeChico. But is there really a point? You have nothing left. And for the mere secret is just moments away. The big secret. Why is VTW still alive? Why is UWE destined to die? That secret. Just stay in just a little bit longer because I just love reeling it in. I love spoiling the facts. If I really wanted to, I can let everyone know what happened at Best in the Yard already. I can tell you all what happened because I already know. Pinched a nerve there, didn't I? So where do I begin? Should I tell you? Maybe I should tell you that. Nah. I want to rob you of hope. And if I just spoil Best in the Yard, then you know what? That's going to make me the villain. And plus, I don't want any of you to miss out on Best in the Yard. I want you to all to witness how you just love taking away the lives, the blood, sweat, and tears of all those. So why would I even spoil the event? I want to see all of your faces when you know I am right. Let's continue with comments, shall we? So you're not even in Best in the Yard. Where's your match? I already had my match at Best in the Yard. It just happened in my yard because UWE is Best in the Yard. Was Best in the Yard. Now I am Best in the Yard. Like I said, your show has no appropriate title. D-Lock. Well, just got done enjoying some whiskey. What did I miss? Must not have been nothing. Everett is a true genius. Nothing, just him running his mouth. What happened in Black and White? I'll tell you what happened to Black and White. Black and White diminished because I told REF step back. Cameron Jackson has too much of an ego. Fall back, and now we must do what's right. Yeah, got it. Hey, 2020 Matthew, remember what the hell are you watching in the background? figure kind of disappeared. Everett should fight AK-47. So that brings me to Cage. Because it wasn't enough for Cameron Jackson to torment me. No, he had to drag Cage all the way back into backyard wrestling. Although he has lived a much successful and superior life as Fuego del Sol. But no, Cameron Jackson just had to grab him back into the fire. And now Cage is once again returned because his ego couldn't put it away as well? No. I don't have time to waste with AK-47. Because everybody thought that he was the prior villain. That he was the perfect Omega to Cage's Alpha. That Everett Crede and Cameron Jackson was the perfect next generation of Cage and AK-47. Nuh-uh. AK-47 has nothing on me, and I proved that at WrestleCon when I went right to his face and told him that there's a new assassin in town. And my next target? Underground Wrestling Entertainment. UWE failed me. Rick Rios lost to Zach Daniels. TJ Sakara lost to Aaron Jones. But not worry. Rick Rios will make up for his failure with succeeding and finally ending the career of big-time Mike at Best in the Yard, which is something that I couldn't have even asked him to do. But he'll get the job done. I assure you. I promise you that. And TJ will get his second chance at Aaron Jones, and he will succeed. Because Aaron Jones, where do I begin with him? No matter. I have to leave, but not before I tell the truth. The truth about backyard wrestling. It's escaping the fate. It's a dream world where everybody can just escape and go on and be somebody else. Because in the real world, they're just somebody walking down the street that nobody would recognize, give them an autograph. But no, in the UWE, BEW, or VTW, they're a superstar. People worship them on the internet. People look at them on a higher perspective. But in the real world, they're making sandwiches for people like me, executives. They're just like you. They just want something more. They go home at night and they watch themselves at TV. They watch themselves perform in their matches and their star-studded entrances, and they masturbate at the fact that they are something more than what they truly are. So Everett Crede, why did you leave backyard wrestling? Why will you diminish your own dream? Because it's time to wake up. I'm not a mere deli sandwich maker. I'm not a landscaper. I'm not someone that will work at a pizzeria or a Modell's for $10 an hour. I am an executive now. Angelique Stark, our relationship has paid off. And now I need not to worry about anybody else but my own self. I am a success in life. UWE was a mere experiment that had gone successful. And now those like Cameron Jackson have to hold on so desperately to the CJE because in the real world, there is no CJE. There is no Clunk or Buford Jones. There's only a man that works at a deli. Just someone that clocks in, clocks out, and has no other regards. Jason Walker. Without backyard wrestling, he is just a mere Indiana Jones wannabe that looks up fossils and bones and stays hidden in the past. Without backyard wrestling, the Vaughn McDonald, he could have been somebody. But he's stuck in the poison. The poison I will use to terminate Lips, a mere freak who has no purpose in life outside of his circus tent. VTW is still alive, and as long as they're still breathing in and out, they'll never have a reality. They'll be stuck in their own sick little dream world where they actually think they are more than something, more than human. And that will fail miserably. And their failure is my success. So thus, Crossover Crisis, I've won. but not because UWE has more victories than VTW, not because I've defeated Dustin Reagan, but because on the Outlook, when the lights are turned off, when the camera stops rolling, I go on and live here at NBC Universal Stark Tower. And there you are, blank, remnant of your memories within backyard wrestling. I almost pity you. And finally, last but not least, Ustalo, I know what you're doing. Stop while you're ahead.